Magandang hapon, Simbahang Katolika sa Pilipinas at sa buong mundo. Nay, tay, kapanalig, pahiram po muna ng 20 minutes ng inyong hapon. Ako po si Rix at welcome sa Faith Talk with Rix The Seminarian. Ang ating pong bisita ngayong hapon for our pilot episode is very special. He is a well-known and one of the most prominent and significant figures of the Catholic Church here in the Philippines, a true prophet of God, a lover of justice and truth, a holy and inspiring and very relevant preacher of our time. Let us welcome former CBCP President, His Excellency, the Most Reverend Archbishop Socrates Buenaventura Villegas, OPDD.
Kala ko iba yung bisita mo.
Yes po yan, Father. Paka-idol ko po kay Father. Thank you. First of all, Archbishop Soc, Father Soc, as what you've been fondly called by your followers and the netizens on social media, thank you for saying yes to this interview. We are all really so blessed and honored to have you here, Father
I want
Soc.
to encourage you because you're doing well in proclaiming the gospel.
Idol ko po kayo, Father.
You do not only proclaim the gospel in the pulpit, we go where the young people are.
Yes.
And that is where you have been, and I want to commend you for that.
Thank you, Father. So, inspiration ko po kayo actually. Father, it's actually my third time pa lang po to meet you in person. The first time was during the Sancto Cristo, Sanctugan kay Cristo, which was said in Dagupan.
Yes.
And I was in philosophy. At since then, talaga pong sinasabi ko, kamukha niyo po si Pope Pius X. Ayan po ako. Not just in looks, but in virtues. Very, vigorous in defending the Catholic doctrine. Talagang pinaglalaban yung turo ng simbahan. A very pious and holy Pope. Father Soc, ganun din po kayo.
Makakilabot ang sinasabi mo.
Second time po was during the kapatiran in Bicol.
Sa Naga.
Opo, I remember you told the seminarians na there are only two things na meron po sa pocket ninyo. First is your handkerchief as a sign of being a gentleman. And second, as a sign of being a greater gentleman, the rosary.
Yes.
Yun po. At hanggang ngayon po, dala-dala ko po yung, yung aking rosary and the handkerchief. Talagang, pinandaan ko po yun, Father Soc. Kanina po, naitay, kapanalig, nagmisa po si Father Soc sa katedral, and talaga pong napakaganda ng kanyang homily. Very prophetic, yet at the same time, inspiring, encouraging, and relatable. Bishop Soc, ang tanong ko lang po, how would you describe the nature of your homilies po, Father Soc? And bring us in the process of the preparation of your sermons.
Rix, mahirap ang tanong. Una, kailangan ay homily ay buhay. Hindi pwedeng ang homily ay galing sa libro o ang homily ay hiniram kung saan. Ang homily ay buhay mo. So, ang ibig sabihin ay pagkatapos mo makipag-usap sa Diyos, sana yayain mo ang Diyos na magsalita sa pamamagitan natin. At yun ay homily. Pero, ang homily ay una, dapat kakilala mo ang Diyos. Pangalawa, kakilala mo ang turo ng simbahan. Pangatlo ay kakilala mo ang taong bayan. Kasi kung hindi mo kilala yung kapatid mo kay Kristo, na nakikita mo, paano mo sasabihin mahal mo at kakilala mo si Kristo na hindi natin nakikita? So, through Him, with Him, in Him, yung Him na yon ay Christ, no? Pero through man, with man, in man, makikilala naman natin si Kristo.
Wow.
So, yung homily, Rix, ay grasya na ng Diyos yun. Hindi ka talaga pwede magsabing merong party doon na ikaw. Kung meron mang party doon na ikaw, yun yung kapintasan ng homily. It is the deficiency, it is the weakness of the homily that is you. But every power of a homily, every power of a teaching is from the Lord.
Grabe. Ganda. Ang ganda, Bishop Sok. Sana po, maging katulad po namin kayong mga future priests, kami pong mga
Huwag ako.
seminarista.
Ang baba naman ng standard mo.
Idol na idol po namin
I
kayo sa
think
homily.
dapat ang standard natin is Christ. Kasi sabi ni St. Paul, di ba? Imitate me because I imitate Christ. Because if I am not imitating Christ, it is no use imitating me, sabi ni St. Paul. So, kung meron kayo mabuting nakikita sa akin, iyon ay dahil kumikilos ng awa ng Diyos. So, huwag niyo na akong tingnan, rather like absolute distilled water. May I be transparent and may you see Christ in me.
Paano po kayo nagsimula, Bishop? Ano po ang simula nyo? Paano po kayo nagsimula sa pagiging pari? Ano po ang simula nyo sa pagiging obispo? Dalhin nyo po kami sa inyong pagkabata. Pero bago po yan, Bishop, let's do fast talk.
Oh, sige.
Are you ready, Bishop? You have 2 minutes, Bishop.
Okay.
Timer starts now. Father Sok, Bishop Sok.
Sinner,
TikTok, Facebook.
where the youth are.
Philosopher, theologian.
Theologian,
Morning prayer, evening prayer.
both.
Morning mass, evening mass.
Morning.
Favorite saint.
St. Francis, St. Dominic,
Favorite theologian.
Hans von Balthasar.
Favorite philosopher.
Socrates,
Pope Benedict XVI, Pope Francis.
Pope,
Saint Dominic, Saint Ignatius.
St. Dominic,
Magkakasala o magbibinyag.
magbibinyag.
Favorite sacrament to celebrate.
Ordination,
Tinapay ng buhay o tubig ng buhay.
tinapay ng buhay.
Most memorable assignment as a priest.
EDSA shrine,
Most memorable assignment as a bishop.
every day.
Bataan, Pangasinan.
Pangasinan.
In your years of being a priest, nakakailang misa na po kayo?
Ay, hindi ako nagbibilang.
Kasi,
Kasi ganoon, gangrasya ng Diyos. Hindi mo na siya kayang bilangin. Hindi mo kayang hawakan.
in your years of the priesthood, ilan na po ang nabinyagan ninyo?
Hindi ko rin alam. Alam na siguro ng Diyos.
Favorite religious song?
Here I am, Lord.
Favorite part of the Mass?
The Mass is ended.
Justice or mercy?
Mercy.
Cardinal Sin, Cardinal Tagle.
Cardinal Sin.
Philippines, Vatican.
Philippines.
Pagiging Katoliko o pagiging Pilipino?
Katoliko.
Pari o hari?
Pari.
Favorite place to celebrate the Mass?
The Archbishop's Chapel.
Favorite church in the Philippines?
St. John Cathedral, Dagupan.
Favorite part of vesting as a bishop?
Favorite part of
Vesting as a bishop. Or favorite damit ng obispo?
favorite damit ng obispo.
Or-
pectoral cross.
Favorite liturgical color?
White.
Favorite feast day?
Easter.
Christmas or Easter?
Easter.
Advent or Lent?
Advent.
Where do you usually pray in private?
In the chapel.
When you pray, lights on or lights off?
Dim. There's light but not so bright.
The least, the last, or the lost?
The least, the last, and the lost.
Happiness or chocolates?
Happiness.
What is happiness for you?
Happiness for me is looking at the Lord in the Eucharist.
Best time for happiness?
Best time for happiness is Lamb of God when I can commune with the Lord.
Kung bubuksan po ang puso nyo ngayon, Father Sok, ano ang nilalaman nito?
Sin.
Complete the sentence, Archbishop. I am the most Reverend Archbishop Socrates B. Villegas, DD, and I am...
Your friend.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Bishop Sok. So, simula pa lang po yun, Bishop Sok. Marami po akong katanungan po sa inyo. At this point po, Archbishop, we want to join you to where you started. Paano po nagsimula ang inyong pagkapari at pagka-obispo? How did the Lord call you? Paano po kayo tinawag ng Diyos?
Handa ba kayo?
Ready po, and we're excited.
Bilang maliit na bata, pinalaki kami na sinasabihin kami magpari ka. So, naglalaro-laro kami pare. Yung pinsan ko, na anak ng tiyo ko, tatay-tatay namin magkapatid, pari na rin siya.
Wow.
Si Father Lito Villegas, nasa Nuestra Señora de Guia, sa Ermita. Pero pareho kaming hindi pumasok sa seminaryo sa tamang panahon. Kasi pumasok ako pagkatapos ng high school. Bakit pagkatapos ng high school, hindi ako pinayagan ng tatay? Pero nung high school, binaon ko na sa limot yung pagpapari. Kasi sayang naman yung crush, di ba?
I can relate.
So, yan. Normal high school life. And then, nung high school ako, namatay si Bruce Lee. He was my
Martial artist.
he was my teenage idol.
Oh.
And I came across a writing of Bruce Lee, and he said, "The cup realizes itself only by being empty." Ang tasa ay nagiging tasa kapag wala na siyang laman. I was challenged, and I had sleepless nights. I was disturbed. I was in high school, teenager, and I got 0 in quiz. I was called by the principal. He said to me, "Villegas, you are running for honors." I said, "Thank you, sir." And he shouted at me and said, "You were? What's going on?" Like a normal teenager, sabi ko, wala po. Wala, nag-0 ka sa quiz. Wala po. Sabi ng advisor mo, tulala ka sa recitation. Nagda-drugs ka. Sabi ko, hindi po. Mag-girlfriend ka. Opo. Nag-break kayo. Hindi po. Bakit ka tulala? Pinipilit niya ako. Sabi ko, "Sir, the cup realizes itself only by being empty." Sabi niya, "Ano?" Sabi ko, "Sir, namatay po si Bruce Lee. And I want to die, but I don't know. I know I cannot kill myself, but I want to die."
So, Bishop, gano'n na lang po yung pagkaano niyo sa kanya?
I don't know, it was so intense. I really wanted to die, but not kill myself. It was a dilemma. So, sabi niya, "Something is going on with you. I'll bring you to a college where you can die." So, he brought me to San Carlos Seminary.
Oh.
I took the exam. I passed the exam. I carried my Bruce Lee album. But then, in the seminary, I realized that Bruce Lee was not original, because 2,000 years back, Jesus said, "If the seed dies, it bears fruit." So I burned my Bruce Lee album, and then studied and loved Jesus. If it dies, it bears fruit. So, but Bruce Lee has guided me all these years. Because Bruce Lee also said, "Be like water. If you put water in a bottle, in a jug, in a jar, in a glass, the water takes the shape of the container." I was the EDSA Shrine rector, so I took the shape of an urban pastor. I was sent to Bataan. I took the container of Bataan. I was sent to Pangasinan. I had no one I knew there except Our Lady of Manawag. So I went there and shaped like a Pangasinense. And Bruce Lee has been my guiding force. I don't think Bruce Lee would even imagine that Jesus used him to call me.
Yeah.
But he has guided me until now. Be like water and be ready to die, because the essence of life is in giving, is in sacrificing for others. So, for 15 years, I was a priest secretary of Cardinal Sin.
The media calls you the protege of Cardinal Sin, because, as you said, you became his private secretary for many years, and you also played a significant role in the first EDSA People Power Revolution. Bishop, nasaan po kayo? At ano pong ginagawa niyo during those difficult times?
I was ordained deacon 1985. I was 24 years old. I was ordained a priest at 25 years and 1 week.
Oh.
So, I was 25 years old as secretary, and he started to write pastoral letters about the corruption, about the disappearances, about the terrorism, about the dishonesty that was so prevalent at the time. And then he declared a Marian year, and he called for penance. And the biblical basis of that is, if my people turn away from their sins, I will heal their land. So he called for a year of penance, conversion, offerings for the poor, charity. And at the end of the Marian year, 1985, the president called for snap elections
Wow.
out of nowhere.
Galing, ano?
And we look at that as answered prayers for the peaceful change. And then the campaign came, and then he was very vocal during the election. But I can tell you, it was not because he wanted this person to win or this person to lose. It was because he knew that this is God's will for me, and therefore I must do it. Like the Virgin Mary standing at the foot of the cross. It was difficult, it was risky, but if the Lord asks you, be where you are, just stay where you are, and bear witness to me. So when he called on the people, I was with him in the Archbishop's house. But before he did that, he told me, you call the three monasteries, Pink Sisters, Carmelites, and then the Poor Clares. And tell them to expose the Blessed Sacrament and pray for me. So I called the Carmelites. I called the Carmelites. I said, expose the Blessed Sacrament. Sabi po ni Cardinal, opo. I called the Poor Clares. Expose the Blessed Sacrament. Opo. I called the Pink Sisters. Sabi ko, expose the Blessed Sacrament. Sabi nila sa akin, perpetual adoration po kami.
Naka-expose na po, Bishop.
Naka-expose na po kami palagi. So, pray for me. And that was what he did before he called on the people to go to EDSA. And as we say, the rest is history.
Kayo po pala yung talagang para bang Saint John the Baptist ni Cardinal Sin, no? Talagang make a way. Parang ganun po,
But
Bishop.
he would not do anything without prayer. In fact, I was surprised that he called on the people to go to EDSA. And then I was only 25 years old, 3 months a priest. I said to him, I took the courage and said, Eminence, the people might be massacred. And I remember very distinctly he said to me,
Takot po kayo,
No.
siyempre, Bishop.
no, Our Lady will not allow it.
Wow. That's the trust of Son of Our Lady. Wow. Bishop, how did Cardinal Sin influence you for what you are right now?
You
I
might
can
be
consider.
surprised, but the greatest legacy of Cardinal Sin to me is to love priests. It is not social engagement. It is not political conversion. His first
Wow.
advice to me when I became a bishop is, take care of your priests. Take care of the young priests, they are lonely. Take care of the sick and elderly priests because they feel forgotten. Take care of the priests in midlife because they are suffering burnout. And anytime the priest goes to you, listen to them. And that was also his instruction to me as secretary. Anytime the priest comes, please accommodate them. Serve them food, give them a room, listen to them if I am not around.
Wow.
If I am around anytime, day or night, wake me up. I am ready to talk to any priest. So it is not really political engagement that he entrusted to me. Very clearly he said, love the priests. Because the priests have left their homes, they have left their families, and as a consequence of that is love the seminarians.
I love you too, Bishop. I love you too. I will do the same. Bishop, you also became the CBCP president. How did you handle your term po, Father Sok?
I did not handle it, God did it.
God did it.
So, when God gives you a task in the church, God also gives you the grace.
What was the most challenging part as a president of the CBCP? Bishop Sok?
It was the transition from President Aquino to President Duterte. And I witnessed the national elections
As the president.
as the president. And it was a difficult situation because we saw what was forthcoming. And as teachers of the faith, I spoke up and warned. And I said, this is a risk. You know, when you're a priest, you engage in what is called in theology prophetic ministry. The prophetic ministry comes from being a spokesman of God. And the spokesman of God is not always appreciated. In fact, you know from your studies that all the prophets were killed. Because a prophet who is not ready to be killed would be unfaithful to his vocation.
False prophet.
They're false prophets. So I had death threats. I was ridiculed. I was mocked. But I said to myself, I am just doing what I believe in prayer I should do. I am not here to be popular. I am not here to be successful. I am here to do my task as a spokesman, as a teacher of the Lord.
And people were saying that you just hate Duterte. I don't know, because of his tirades and criticisms against the bishops, against you and the church. Father Sok, yes or no? Do you hate former President Duterte? Then if it's not hate, then what is it?
I, I, I can say before God, and as I pray before the Blessed Sacrament, I have not entertained any hatred against anyone I have met in my whole life.
Wow.
I can tell you that. And when I feel bad, I cry. And after crying, I say to the Lord, what do you really want me to do? And that's what I do. So, no matter what people say, I can tell you, I have never entertained hatred for anyone in my life.
Wow.
And I cannot say that I have loved everybody equally because that would not be realistic. Because even the Lord had the beloved disciple.
Right.
The important
Saint John.
thing is we love everybody, but with different degrees, but without any hatred. And I cannot remember the name, but I think it was Gabriel Marcel who said, to love somebody is to say, I don't like you to die. To love somebody is, I want the best for you. And I can tell you from my heart, I have never wished anyone harm.
So, Father Sok, can you say that you love Duterte?
Yes.
How do you love someone like him?
How do you love him? The minimum is you have to pray for him that he may be well. Well, not only in terms of body and physical health, but well in terms of the spirit. That at the end of it, it is not what the surveys show. It is not what commonly counts. At the end of the day, it is how God looks at us that should matter. Because at the end of everything, it is only God who will be our judge. Not the COMELEC, not the Supreme Court, not the statistics and the surveys. We will all face the Lord at the last judgment. And how God looks at us is what counts at the very end.
In 2019, Father Sok, you were charged for sedition, libel, estafa, harboring a criminal, and obstruction of justice. Have you thought of, like, baka sumosobra na ako if I just tone down a bit? Many people would say like that or have thought like that. Hindi sana mangyayari yung makasuhan pa si Bishop Sok ng gano'n or the three other bishops. Is it okay for you to have these charges filed against you?
It hurt me because it was a lie. The truth, they say the truth hurts, no? But only the truth can set us free. So when my name was included in it, I looked at it as an opportunity to really stand up for the Lord. That under persecution, under threat, you would not change your position and say, I stand up for Jesus. I suffered in the sense that some people believed that I was seditious, that I was plotting, that I was a violent man. But as I said, magkita-kita na lang tayo sa last judgment. Alam naman ng Diyos lahat yun. So,
And the truth prevails po. The cases were junked.
yes, because, for example, in the charge sheet, he said that I met with him on the 12th of December in order to plot against the government. Fortunately, I was on Facebook on December 12 at 6 p.m. preaching at the Thanksgiving Mass of a new priest.
Oh.
So when I saw that, and the lawyer said, "Tell me about it," I told him the story. And I said to the lawyer, "But no, I want to thank the false accuser for thinking so highly of me that I can bilocate."
Last Bishop, you said in 2019 that the hero's burial of the late Ferdinand Marcos was an insult to the EDSA spirit and a kind of a mockery to our democracy. And you were hurt and saddened by like a secretive burial. How do you feel now po, Bishop, about the election of his son, Marcos Jr., to the presidency?
Well, let's be positive about it. I think at least externally, he dresses properly as a role model for our youth. I think he relates well to the diplomatic corps, to the family of nations. Let's just look at the positive things about the man, because there is no perfect man and there is no perfect president.
We're going to show you some pictures, Bishop, and you're gonna speak to them as if they are face to face with you. What
Okay.
you're gonna tell them. The first one,
I miss you.
second one.
I pray for you. I pray for you and I love you. Lead us well. I'm all yours. Thank you for calling me.
Wow. So, uh, final questions with all that has happened in your life. What is your greatest lesson and your greatest takeaway?
God is rich in mercy. Never, 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 never hesitate to stand up from where you have fallen. And always remember, standing up is not a matter of willpower. Standing up is a matter of saying, Jesus, I trust in you. Make me well again. Heal me, Lord. Jesus, I trust in you.
Wow. Thank you, Bishop Sok. If you would talk to the younger Father Sok, what would you tell him?
Uh, Study more. uh, Maybe as a young priest, I would say to the younger me, uh, you should have loved your parents more. Or I really love them, but I did not have much time for them, and that was really a regret. Because when you're a priest, you're a priest 24/7, and one of the first victims of the 24/7 arrangement is your closest family members. I was not able to give them as much love as I wanted because the priestly ministry was a strong preoccupation. So if I could reverse the calendars of the years, I'd spend more time with my parents and assure them that I am your priest's son.
Wow. To the younger bishop, what would you tell younger Bishop Sok?
love the priests. I think that is the main ministry of every bishop. And be sensitive, listen, care for, and be compassionate. Because the most painful sight to see is to see a priest cry. I cannot endure seeing a priest cry out of loneliness, out of discouragement, out of pain, out of the negligence of others. I cannot take it in my heart to see a priest cry. Because this priest has already given himself totally to the Lord. And as a bishop, it is my duty to be an enabler, an encourager, a consoler.
Father Sok, what is your advice to those priests who are suffering from burnouts and midlife crisis?
We are called to be celibates, but we are not called to be friendless.
Wow. Relate ako,
You
Bishop.
you have to make sure that you have a friend. And when you have no friend in your life as a priest, you're likely to burn out. So it is not work that makes you burn out. It is lack of love. It is lack of warmth. It is lack of affection managed properly for the Lord. So
Thank you for that advice,
God has been
Bishop.
so good to me as to give me friends who can inspire me, encourage me through the years. So right now, I am almost 63 years old, and I have been asked what was my most memorable, happiest moment. I said without hesitation, every day. Because every day is grace, no? And it is not about being a bishop or being a priest or being on social media that counts. At the end of the day, before you sleep, you can say, God is my friend. And that is all that matters.
Wow. Inspiring. One last question, Bishop Sok. Nasa pintuan po kayo ng langit. Ano po ang isang dahilan para po papasukin kayo?
Andiyan ho yung nanay ko.
Mama Mary. Wow, thank you so much, Archbishop Sok, for doing this interview. I hope it's not the last time po. Pag
Sure,
po
just
cardinal
tell
na
me
kayo,
when,
po.
ano. Just
Invite
tell
you
me
po.
when.
So, thank you po so much, Bishop Sok.
And keep up the good work.
Thank you po, Bishop Sok. We have something for you, Ate Jeng.
Wow.
Si Ate
Thank you.
Ate Nes. Bishop, si Ate Jeng po ay birthday po niya ngayon.
Ah!
Ang kasamahan po.
Okay.
Siya po ang nagbigay po sa inyo niyan. Sponsor din po to ng kanilang chocolate house. Kanilang chocolate house. So, we want to ask for your birthday blessing. So, Ate Jeng po, Bishop.
May the Lord bless you and keep you, and let His face shine upon you in His peace. And His Spirit. The blessings of the Almighty God descend upon you and remain with you, the Father, the Son, and the Spirit.
Amen. Thank you po, Archbishop Sok. Thank you. Salamat po sa pagpapatuloy sa amin. Thank you. Stay kind, stay Catholic, and always pray and always be thankful. Goodbye for now. Thank you, Archbishop. Okay, picture po. Sige.